Today, we're going deep underground, to unravel a mystery that's 17,000 years old, the Lascaux Caves. And listen, these aren't just some old pictures on a wall. Nope, they are a direct message from our earliest human ancestors, a story about what it even means to be human. So let's see if we can decode it together.
We post photos, we post videos, we share our lives, our thoughts, everything we see. It's just what we do, right? It's second nature. But I want you to imagine doing that 17,000 years ago. There's no text, there are no phones, your canvas is a damp cave wall, and your audience is, well, who is your audience? That right there is the world of Lascaux.
I mean, just look at this. This is the Hall of Bulls. It is absolutely breathtaking. At a time when life was literally a daily struggle just to survive, a group of early humans went down into the pitch black to create this. Now, this wasn't just some casual decoration. In a world that had no written language, this was communication. And it was epic. It was primal. Okay, so this incredible gallery was totally hidden from the world for thousands and thousands of years. So how was it even found? And where exactly is this canvas inside Earth? Let's get our bearings. So, here we are, the Vézère Valley in southwestern France. And what's really cool is that Lascaux isn't just some random one-off thing. It's actually the crown jewel of a whole region, an area that stretches all the way into Spain that is just packed with prehistoric sites. This place was clearly a major hotspot for ancient creativity. And this timeline, wow, this really puts it all into perspective. Get this. Modern humans were hanging out in this region for thousands of years before anyone even thought to pick up a tool to paint here. Then this incredible art just sat there in silence, perfectly preserved for 17,000 years, until it was rediscovered in 1940. And believe it or not, that's when the real threat to its survival actually began. Stepping inside the cave, it's like opening up a prehistoric encyclopedia of the Ice Age's biggest animals. We see the animals they hunted, and maybe the ones they feared, right? Horses, bison, deer. But you've also got predators like lions, and even a bear. And then there are these mysterious abstract marks, just dots and lines. What are they? Signatures? A way of counting? We honestly just don't know. Okay, this is the part that just blows my mind. How in the world did they create art this good in the pitch black on the uneven walls of a deep cave? This was not some comfy art studio. We're talking about a dangerous, challenging, and totally dark space. These people were absolute masters of being resourceful. Their paint? It came straight from the earth itself. They used charcoal for their blacks and ochre for all those rich reds and yellows. They literally conquered the darkness with little stone lamps that burned animal fat. And to get way up high on the ceilings, archaeologists actually found holes in the walls, which is evidence that they built wooden scaffolding. This was a really complex, carefully planned out operation. And they weren't just, slapping paint on the wall. They were using some pretty sophisticated artistic techniques. This one here is called twisted perspective. See how the animal's body is in profile? That's easier to draw. But the horns are turned to face you. So why do that? Well, because it makes the animal instantly more recognizable, more powerful. It's a super clever trick to capture the most iconic parts of the animal all at once. So you can see this all came together in a very deliberate process. First, they'd light up the darkness with their lamps. Then they'd plan out their whole composition on the wall. Step 3 was to create the outline, a lot of times by carving right into the soft rock. And finally, they'd add the color, sometimes even blowing the pigment through a tube, kind of like an early airbrush. This really suggests it was a team effort, a highly skilled group, maybe even with masters and apprentices working together. So okay, we've got a pretty good sense of the who, the what, and the how. But that leaves us with the biggest, most fascinating question of all. Why? What on earth drove these ancient people to dedicate so much time and effort and precious resources to creating all this art? I mean, really think about their lives for a second. Every single day was about finding food, staying warm, and just staying safe in a really harsh, cold world. So why would you risk going deep into a dangerous cave to paint? This question, it gets right to the very heart of the mystery of Lascaux. Well, two main theories have really come to the forefront. The first one is often called hunting magic. The basic idea is that by painting an animal, you gain some kind of spiritual power over it, like a ritual to make sure your next hunt is a success. The second theory is maybe a bit simpler. They were just telling stories. These images could be records of a famous hunt, or maybe their origin myths, or even just a way to teach the next generation. And while a lot of the paintings could probably fit either theory, there is one scene tucked away deep inside the cave that feels different. It feels uniquely like a story, and it's one of the most debated and fascinating images in all of prehistoric art. Okay, let's look at what we're seeing in this incredible scene. It's a drama, a confrontation. You've got this huge bison, and it's clearly been wounded. You can even see its insides spilling out. Then, below it, there's a man, drawn way more simply than the animals, but he has the head of a bird, and he looks like he's either dead or in some kind of trance. And then, off to the left, a rhinoceros just seems to be walking away.
This single, incredible scene contains the entire mystery. Everyone agrees that some kind of violent interaction happened here, but why the bird head on the man? Is he a shaman in the trance talking to animal spirits? Is this the story of a hunt that went terribly wrong? Or maybe it's some mythical battle? It is a 17,000-year-old question that we just don't have a certain answer for.
The discovery of Lascaux back in 1940 was amazing, right? It brought this ancient wonder into our modern world. But that fame, that discovery, created a totally new and dangerous threat to its very existence. It is such a tragic irony when you think about it. The cave survived for 17,000 years in a perfectly balanced, stable environment. But when thousands and thousands of visitors started pouring in after it was discovered, their breath, the carbon dioxide, and their body heat started to permanently damage the paintings. So a really drastic solution was needed. In 1963, the original cave was sealed off to the public, forever. But to allow people to still experience the magic, an exact replica called Lascaux II was painstakingly created right nearby. And today, the original cave is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it requires constant round-the-clock work to preserve it. And that really brings us right back to where we started. From the flickering firelight on the walls of Lascaux to the glowing screens we all hold in our hands today, the technology has changed, obviously, but that fundamental human impulse to share our world, that has not changed one bit. It's that timeless need to leave a mark, to say, I was here. So after 17,000 years, what story will we choose to leave behind?